Welcome to Money Making Conversations. I am your host, Rushion McDonald. I say this every episode. It's time you stop reading other people's success stories and start writing your own. I always tell people when you talk about gifts and you talk about passion, well, lead with your gifts. And don't let your age, friends, family, or coworkers stop you from planning or living your dreams. My interviews that I do on Money Making Conversations are with celebrities, CEOs, entrepreneurs, and people I like to call industry decision makers. My next guest is Chef Q. Chef Q is a veteran that served 8 years in the Navy. He is a great example of perseverance and not giving up on your dreams. He opened Q1227, which is his month and date of his birthday. That's a restaurant in December 2019, and had to close 4 months later due to the pandemic. Chef Q made adjustments and created a to-go orders and a family menu, which became a big help for parents working home remotely. He also working remotely at home. Let me say it like that. He has received exceptional reviews for his great tasting food and service from President Bill Clinton, TV radio host my boy Steve Harvey, singer-songwriter Shawn Mendes, love his music, actor Danny Glover, comedian George Lopez, NBA player Chris Paul, Houston Astros Manager Dusty Baker, and a host of others. They have all enjoyed the delectable meals of Chef Q. Let's find out why. Please welcome to Money Making Conversations, my man, Chef Q. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for the invite. This is awesome.
Well, first of all, I had to just lay out the food carpet. I like to say the food, let everybody know who I'm talking to. You know what I'm saying? So tell us about, because I read your bio, is that you're a self-taught chef.
Yes, I am. I started washing dishes and kept working my way up the ladder. Not being, given that red carpet treatment, kind of had to do what you had to do and, keep working hard. Head down, work hard. That's what my mom taught me.
Now, when I hear that term, started washing dishes. Now, okay, I'm going to tell you my little funny story. And I remember I was 16 years old. I worked at Burger King. They hired me to do the hamburgers. All I do, but I didn't like that job. I worked my way up to the cash register. Every time the manager would come and go, why are you not making burgers? Well, because I wanted to work the cash register. So eventually he let me stay at the cash register. Now, you started washing dishes. How did you start, being invited over to make food or could participate in setting the food up in a sous chef? How did that work?
Well, it started in the prep room, right? Because the guys would go out on their smoke breaks and they needed, somebody to watch their station. Right. So I volunteered and I just picked up a knife one day and the chef at the time walked by, saw me with a knife and said, hey, let me show you how to hold that knife. Oh, okay. So it started there.
Well, interesting you say that because man, we can assume, because we watch TV all the time, Food Networks and video. Yeah. They say the most watched videos on social media are food videos. That knife and how you use it, first of all, you should have a sharp knife. Don't
yes.
You won't be frustrated. Try to do something with a dull knife. Talk about that because we all know that we have steak knives. When I say steak knives, you have the knives that you have with your kitchen and with your fork and that. Talk about the whole process of things that we take for granted, Chef Q, that should not be taken for granted, especially a sharp knife in your kitchen when you're trying to prepare food.
That's a great point because I learned at a young in that culinary career that there's a right tool for the right job. So you have to understand that and able to use the tool that's supposed to be for the job. Mm-hmm. And it really is going to make your job a little less cumbersome. Sharp knives is important. I sharpen my knives all the time. So it's little things like that will help you, do the task more efficiently.
Because I see when I'm watching the pros, whether it's Bobby Flay or on TV or any of the prominent chefs that come on these foods, or watch the chops shows. When they start chopping those knives coming in sling, those are sharp knives that they're using to really chop especially when you do it with veggies. Chopping it real quick and all those things. And so that was your first lesson. Somebody saw you over there just handling a knife real wrong. When did you start moving in and saying, this is what I want to do? Because, we always have different dreams and different aspirations. But when does it become a reality to you that this is something that you could do and you wanted to do?
Well, when that same chef had a little faith in me, he looked at me and he said, hey, you're pretty good at this. This could be a career if you want it to be. Because in my mind, I was just working my way to get a little extra money, working my way through college. And when he told me that, it kind of dawned on me. And then I started doing a little bit of research and asking more questions and, writing down more things that he would say and kind of getting serious about it and saying that it's more than just flipping burgers, because that was the misnomer to me. To be a cook means I got to flip burgers or I got to, fry chicken for the rest of my life.
Right.
So that was a misnomer for me. So when I learned out that there was so much more to do in this career called culinary arts, then I got more interested in it.
Yeah, because you can be, like I said, you can't be stereotyped about what a chef does,
Yes.
And there's nothing
Indeed.
negative. You have a chef, like I love Waffle House. You have a chef there, call out the ticket numbers, he remember everything, he make your food. Then you go to a high-end restaurant, or you can go to other restaurants where you can have different titles for different things. So that's a respect. And also, I always tell people on my show is that if you're going to go into a field, learn what you're going into. And that's what you had to do, because you had these stereotypes of what a chef was that were totally incorrect.
Right. And another thing, I think I want to add on to that, because I think that we have a talent, but I think we have to have a knowledge of what we go into.
Right.
And I think that's two totally different things. So that chef saw in me a talent that I could do this for a profession, but I had to learn the knowledge of what it meant to do what he was asking me to do. So I think that's two totally different things. And if we can understand that, and then I wanted, again, it was a long, long road. I don't want anyone to think it was easy. I got turned down many jobs. I got told no a lot, but I just kept at it. I kept at it. And then, sooner or later you get that break, but you got to be ready for that break. You got to be able to perform, and you got to be ready to, you got to show up on time. That's the little things, right?
Right.
You got to do what they ask you to do. Those are the little things. So work the shifts that no one else wants to work. That was all me. Long hours, first one there, last one to leave. That was all me. But I wanted to prove to myself first, and then to those around me, that I could do this.
Well, that's absolutely true. Because being a chef or being a cook, usually you're the only one. In other words, if you have a normal job and you're in administration or you're a secretary, you don't come to work, or you're a salesman, then they can slide somebody in that can cover for you. If you are the chef, there is no covering, right, Chef Q?
Right. When I take a day off, we close the restaurant.
But now, let me.
But hey, we're working on that, though. We're working on that. I got a great team that we're training, and we're working on that.
But you don't want to give away all your secrets either, do you? People can take your secrets and go someplace else with it, right?
Well, hey, so here's my thing on that. If they take it from me, then I just create more.
Okay.
So I'm not really caught up on that. There's a recipe book. Mm-hmm. Everything we do in the restaurant, there's a recipe book. Mm-hmm. So all the cooks and all the people that work there, if they want to grab a page and steal it, so be it. I think that, that just leaves me more room to create more. So, I'm not caught up on, it's mine, it's the secret. Because you know what? I'm standing on the shoulders of someone.
Right.
My mom, my grandmother, my aunties, I'm standing on the shoulder of those TV shows that I watch as well. Mm-hmm. I'm standing on the shoulder of those books that I read when I was coming through the ranks. So if someone wants to stand on my shoulders, so be it.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because when I was doing stand-up comedy, there's always a fear of somebody stealing your joke. And I would hear comments, man, somebody walking, he'll steal your joke. And I was like you. I say, I don't think I'm this is all the jokes I'm gonna write in my life.
Right.
So I'm a 100% guy. I would always go up and give my best. And that's what you're saying here. You're not going to limit yourself because you fear the something you can't control. Because you can't control somebody coming in and figure out your recipe and take it someplace else. If you only got one hamburger in your life, then you got a problem. I don't think you're one hamburger man, Chef Q.
Right. And it just leaves you room to create. That's the thing about food. It's ever changing. It's forever changing. And the melting pot of food is endless. So it really is about the creative mind of the chef. So I don't get caught up on all of that, and, I'm asked a lot of times, by younger chefs or younger cooks coming up through the ranks about helping them and all that. And I'm really, really game, because I wanted somebody to do that to me, especially as a Black chef coming up.
Right.
I wanted to see me at those executive chef positions, and I didn't. So I'm really, really, really mindful about, talking to the younger chefs or younger cooks, especially of color.
You're based in a suburb right outside of Sacramento, California. And now, like you said, early on in your life, you got a taste for the culinary flair. Now, then you spent 8 years in the Navy. Was that after you started cooking, or you had sampled a little cooking training, and then you went into the Navy?
That was before. My military career was before I started cooking.
Okay.
But when I got out of the military is when, I kind of got a little training in the military, if you will, because when I changed over my jobs in the military, they sent me to what we call the galley.
Right.
And they made me cook a little bit there. And again, there was no intentions of me to be becoming a chef or work in this industry. But when I got out of the military and I needed a job, I knew I could wash dishes. Mm-hmm. I knew that. Mm-hmm. So that's where it started. And then I don't know, the hand of God, a few breaks here and there. And, here we are.
Well, I think that it takes a certain amount of perseverance, a certain degree, a whole lot of humbleness to say, hey, and I always tell people, sometimes you have to, it's not about the money, it's about the opportunity. That's how I saw when you talk about washing dishes. You saw an opportunity, and that opportunity led to the conversation we're having on my show, Money Making Conversation. I'm speaking with Chef Q. He opened a restaurant, 1227. That's the month and date of his birthday, outside a small suburb in Sacramento, California area in 2018. And then everything's feeling good. Now walk us through the steps. This is step of 2020. Well, you starting to see it go bad, but you're not admitting that this could really happen. Not now. God, come on now, God. You can't do me like this.
Right. So, it's everything we did at the inception of the restaurant was intentional. We intentionally opened December the 27th, like you said, on my birthday. Uh-huh. Because in the restaurant industry, I know that is a slow season of restaurants. It's holiday season, New Year's resolution. Nobody's coming out to eat. So in my mind, that gives me time to get my legs under us, get our staff together, and make sure we get things right outside the public eye. Mm-hmm. So it was very intentional. Mm-hmm. But then,
but the pandemic wasn't intentional, though. Okay.
And I wasn't ready for it. I don't think nobody was ready for it. Mm-hmm. But I sat down with my wife, who is my general manager.
Right.
And I said, well, it's not only hit us or affected us, it's affected everyone. So how are we going to come through with it? And we did. We looked at other restaurants and we saw what they were doing. That just didn't work for us because we were so new. Nobody knew who we were. So the DoorDash and the Grubhub and all of that stuff, it didn't work for us. Mm. So we downsized our menu, created a family style menu for the family that was around us. And we put it on our social media. But on top of that, we started feeding the frontline health workers in the hospitals. We started giving them box lunches and, sharing the love with them and saying thank you. Mm. And that started becoming, a buzz in the hospitals. Mm. And then people started ordering our family meals and they started enjoying our family meals. Mm. And then it just kept escalating and going from there. And, from that, when we were able to open outside, people just kept coming. And, then, we were fortunate enough to be, supported by the Black community. And then, so they started supporting us. And it just ballooned to, a really, really busy restaurant, which I'm very grateful for.
Well, tell us, what exactly is a family meal, Chef Q? You've said it several times, and that I just think about, when I hear the word family and a meal, I hear large portions. Is it two meats and a meat and two veggies, a meat and two veggies and a bread? What is a family meal?
So in my mind, what I wanted to do is create something to where all the family had to do was just go home, open the box, put it on the table, and have a dinner meal, have a family meal with their kids and all that stuff. Because, remember, kids was at home, schools at home, and parents just didn't have time. Mm-hmm. So we created this menu to where they could choose, one or two of proteins, whether it's rotisserie chicken, fried chicken, meatloaf. We had a seafood platter. We had all of this stuff on there, and then they could choose potatoes, rice, collard greens, mac and cheese. So they kind of pieced together their own little meal, and we just put it together in a box and had it ready for them when they came.
I'm telling you something, man. What you just said is a family meal. Mac and cheese, potatoes, right? Come on now. That food again. That's what you call hearty meals. And also, just a light seasoned if you want to put a little salt and pepper on it, and all those things. So it didn't take as they say, what kid don't like mac and cheese? So you went in there, but
every kid.
But you know something, Chef Q? Everybody can't do mac and cheese right though. You know that though.
Everybody can't. But I'm from the South. Don't forget that. I'm from the South.
So, because I always talk about food. Now you coming down to my area when you say from the South. I'm born in Houston, Texas. Right now, my headquarters is in Atlanta, Georgia. I come from a big family, not as big as yours. I come from 6 sisters, 2 brothers. Okay, and you come from a youngest of 17. And so I'm the middle child, four above me, 4 below me, So they said I was treated special because I was in the middle, but I don't believe that, Chef Q. I don't believe that. So where about in the South did you venture, my friend?
Man, I'm from a small town called Cross City, Florida, outside of Gainesville.
I know exactly where.
And I'm the youngest, so I don't want to say I was treated fair, with special treatment. I was bullied by my brothers, man. They took me through.
I know the feeling, because you're the youngest. Because they always said, they didn't have what you get. You know what I'm saying? The food was better.
Not at all.
The clothes was better.
My mom kept me close, so that's why I got to learn the secret recipes because she kept me close.
Absolutely. It's really interesting, man. When we talk about that chef world, I didn't really start. I was like you. I used to watch my mom, but my mom was a traditionalist. She wouldn't let me come in the kitchen. My dad, no, boy, come over here. Let them girls. They supposed to be in the kitchen. No, that's a mentality back then. So I never. I could only watch. And so when I got in college, I used to always remember what she did, and I kind of like put it together. And so I always was a natural cook. I can go in the kitchen, just start putting stuff together. And things like that. So I get the impression that you are just a natural person with the culinary experience of watching your mom and being there, which has led you to have a year over 25 years because you're self-taught, like I said earlier. Of that process, what surprises the people the most about your skills when you tell them you're self-taught?
I think it's the flavor compound that we put together. We have bold flavors, and then we have some unique flavors. Being from the South, and then, I'm not afraid to try different things. Back in that day, and I'm like you, a big family, but, my mom, I didn't have a father in the home tell me to stay out of the kitchen.
Right.
So that my mom, she was like, well, come in here, boy, just sit down over there in that corner to keep me out of trouble type thing. Right. Or to keep my brothers from jumping on me or whatever, so more of that.
Right.
So you start asking questions for mom, and, it wasn't like she wrote everything down or she explained everything to the T. She gave her best knowledge of what she was doing, but it really was like by taste or by sight. And I don't know, I can count on my hands how many times I saw mom use measuring cups or spoons and things like that. It was all tasting it,
Isn't it crazy? I know. I deal with that, man. I just watching your parents, just throw it in there. Just throw it in there, dude. Just throw it in there.
Yeah, just throw it in there. So, you fast forward, and then, so now I'm in my career, and I had the pleasure to travel the world through the military. I traveled the world, and I tasted some great foods in foreign countries. So now I come back to California, and I'm really serious about this culinary thing. So I reached back to the South, my roots in the South, and then I reached all the way, to my international travels. And I started playing with all of these different ingredients, if you will. And then I'm here in California, which is a farm to fresh capita. So I got fresh produce and fresh products at my disposal. So it really is like, let's just try this and see how it works. Or this tastes great, or this sounds good together. Let's just play. And it really has been that for me and for my career. And I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to try a dish and, that didn't work. Scratch that. So I'm not afraid that at all, or changing it up a little bit, because in the South we cooked a lot of things, or my mom and them, they cooked a lot of things that wasn't exactly healthy for us. So can I take those ingredients or that way, change it up just a little bit to make it a little bit more healthy for our lives today? So I'm challenged with all that, but I take those challenges head on, and to me it's our culinary industry is ever changing. It's forever just transforming. That's the growth in our culinary industry for me. Is I want to stay true to the roots,
right,
where the food comes from, but I want to modernize it. Thus, we kind of call our restaurant modern comfort food.
Absolutely. Q1227, located right outside of Sacramento, California. I'm talking to Chef Q. Chef, tell us about this restaurant. Tell us what inspired you to open the restaurant first, and then let's go to the menu and some of the discussion of what's on that menu and what really pops out from you. Because everybody knows there's certain things on the menu customers just ask for. They go, I got to have this. Chef, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. But then but you keep your whole menu because you got to have variety, and different people like different things. So talk about what inspired you. I've told everybody why it's named Q1227, but what inspired the concept of a modern comfort food restaurant?
Well, first of all, what inspired me was I was at my wit's end working in other high-end restaurants. All my life I worked in pretty, white tablecloth restaurants, if you will. And it just got to a point to where, I'm giving them, 14, 15, 16 hours a day, 6-7 days a week, and just feeling really unappreciated. And, a lot of people get to that point. But when I got to that point, I was like, okay, it's really time for me. Either it's now or never. I got to do this. And we looked for a building. We looked all over the place. And when we found our current location, it really was, this fits what I want to do. And then we created, because, we talked earlier about chefs get stereotyped. I didn't want to be called a soul food chef. I didn't want to be called even a black chef, if you will.
Right.
I just want to be a great chef. Mm-hmm. So we found our building. And then what we did was we looked around at all the other restaurants around us. And we said, well, nobody's doing food like this. Now, so then that's when we created the menu. And then that's when I said, okay, if I pull a little bit of the South and a little bit of this farm freshness, my travels to Japan, let me pull that in here, and let me do this, and let me marry these two together. So the restaurant, the menu, I should say, just evolved around what wasn't in the area. And from my travels and from my experiences and from my childhood. So the menu just kept evolving until what it is now. And some of the favorites, ideally, is like the lobster bites. Like, I did fried lobster years ago when I was a caterer, and I had this one client. He's a former Major League Baseball player. He's a really good friend of mine. When he heard I was going to open a restaurant, he goes, "And you got to put those lobster things on there." I said, "No way!" I was like, "No. First of all, lobster is super expensive, and I don't know if I could, execute it. Right? It's more. We can have a great thing in mind to put on on a menu, but we got to be able to execute it. There's nothing like having something great, but you can't execute it and get it to the table to the guests. So that's horrible. Mm-hmm. So I was like, nah, I can't execute it. I can't put them on. So then I had to figure out a way because he kept at me. So those lobster bites are probably on 99% of our tables when guests come in. They got to have them. Other favorites, as my wife likes to say, the meatloaf. We bacon wrap our meatloaf, but she calls it a grown man meatloaf because it's really nice and hearty. And it comes with our mashed potatoes and some mushroom gravy. It's really nice and hearty. It's really a good meatloaf.
Is it a brown gravy or tomato-based gravy that you use there for your meatloaf? Is it a brown gravy or tomato-based gravy?
Tomato-based gravy.
Woo! Is it a little sweet? You got a little sweetness in it?
No, man, no. It got a little spice in it.
Oh, okay. You know exactly what I was talking about. A lot of people, they put their little sugar in it, give it a little sweet. Okay. No, I like that.
I took the sugar out, trying to keep it a little bit on the healthy end.
I love it. Now, you said something earlier about not wanting to be recognized. There's two things that I always hear when I talk to African-American or black chefs. The word soul food, which I still don't know what that means, because I can go to restaurants and see the same menu, and I don't see the word soul tied to it. And then it's being discriminated because you're black, because they just say you can only do a certain type of menu. So talk about that experience, because you mentioned it a little bit, and I want to let people know that I don't care how talented you are. Sometimes it all comes down to the color of your skin, what people think about you and how they can stereotype you. And what exactly is soul food, Chef Q?
You know what? That's a great point, because I have been stereotyped. I have been stereotyped, and it's not fun. It's not fun at all to be stereotyped.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. Yeah. What's Samantha talking about? Muting your screen. What's that?
It's somebody is speaking. I don't know who it is. It's iPad 2 or whoever that is on iPad. We just need you to mute.
Who's iPad 2?
I thought it was one of a rep of Mr. Chef Q.
No.
Who?
I don't know.
We good here. We'll check that out. Let's go back to because the only person I heard talking was you, Samantha. So I want to let you know that. You know what I heard talking. But thank you. Let's talk about that whole discrimination thing that we deal with. I dealt with it as a writer in Hollywood. I did sitcoms like, Sister Sister, Jamie Foxx, The Parkers, but they always said that, okay, that's a black sitcom. They would never consider me for the Seinfelds or the Home Improvements and things like that. And it always annoyed me because we were doing the same thing and I had the same creative skills. Same thing happens in the restaurant business, especially when you're a chef. The word soul, like I said, I kid you not, I'm a foodie. I go to different restaurants and I go, isn't this what they call soul food over here? But they go to a black restaurant, they're just pigeonhole. And sometimes we do overindulge with the lard, with the sugar at these quote unquote soul food restaurants. But you're doing modern comfort food. And so you shouldn't be pigeonholed like that. Talk about that being a black chef.
Especially opening up, we were pigeon-toed and we were stereotyped, right? Because a lot of my counterparts in the industry, they did say that, right? And you have to fight it, from being offended by it.
Right.
So I just wanted to prove them wrong. And I'll be 100% transparent with you. It really angered me to kind of go there. Like, I'm a chef. I'm not you. I mean, there's nothing I can do about being black.
Right.
So that's who I am. Mm-hmm. But I'm a chef and I'm in this industry and I'm doing what you're doing. So either you're going to recognize me as your peer or just don't recognize me at all. I've been called racial names. I've been stereotyped in the industry. I've been given shifts that the white chefs don't want because I'm the black. Now, I've been in management my entire life, but they've been high-end restaurants. Now, and I'll tell you something else. I've interviewed for jobs that I've not gotten because I'm going to use the word color of my skin. Mm-hmm. So I would interview for executive chef job. Mm-hmm. They would say, well, we want to hire you for a sous chef. And I would be why the guy that you're, eventually looking at is less experienced than I am. Not only would they want to hire me for a lesser position, but give me less money than what the average is. Mm-hmm. So I would take the job. And then this last job, no lie, I applied for executive chef. Mm-hmm. They hired me for sous chef. 2 months later, promoted me to CDC, which is chef de cuisine. And a month after that, promoted me to executive chef. So I'm the same guy that interviewed 3 months ago with the same experience. Mm-hmm. It's just that I had to come in, prove myself. Mm-hmm. And then one of the corporate chefs said, well, I didn't think you had what it took. So it's that sort of racism that I've had to counterpart in my career. And it's sometimes it's blatant, it's in your face. Other times it's subtle. But all in all, man, my end game was I'm here to learn. I'm here to gather information, and I'm here to better my career. So it's not about you, and it's not about the racism that you put out. So when we opened our own restaurant, we were labeled, all of that, man, and I couldn't let it get to me. I just had to stay with it all through the pandemic, all through all of that. We were labeled because we're in a predominantly white area. I think it's probably about 95, 96% white out here. Mm-hmm. And, but it was both ways, right? We had some Black patrons wonder why we was out here,
Right.
and why we wasn't, why we wasn't in the hood,
Right.
So it worked both ways. And to me, that's all educational, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a time for me to educate both races.
Right.
So when you walk into Q1227, it really is about love.
Mm-hmm.
It's about love. It's about diversity. It's not about the color of your skin. It's not about your political background. It's really about love and diversity. We want to love on you. We want to love on you. That's our thing. So, yeah.
Well, I love this interview, man. I really appreciate you, Chef Q. Really, man, I like I said, Dusty Baker, that's my boy. We order his wine. My wife loves his wine. He gets it out of California. So a lot of names. Chris Paul, that's my boy. So there's a lot of names. Steve Harvey, that's, come on now. That's
I used to cater his TV show there in Hollywood, man.
Come on now. So I really understand what's going on, man, with you and your brand. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come on Money Making Conversation and tell your story. It was an outstanding story to tell.
Man, thank you for the invite, man. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in the restaurant one of these days when you're up in this area.
Oh, you will. I'm going to come by. I'm going to bring some of my friends, too. And I'm going to just tell you this, I am Chef Q. I pay. I don't ask for no. I'll pay every time because that's part of the whole process of being an entrepreneur. Can't win if everybody coming there chopping for free, okay? So I'm going to pay.
I got you, man. I appreciate you so much.
I love you, man. Stay strong, and I enjoyed the interview, man.
Yes, sir.
I really
Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you want to hear or see any of my interviews on Money Making Conversations, please go to moneymakingconversation.com. I'm Rushion McDonald. I am your host.